Shoshana Lew, S-H-O-S-H-A-N-A, last name L-E-W. Good afternoon. I'm the Executive Director of the Colorado Department of Transportation, and as one of the few agency representatives able to secure a slot today, I'm here to speak broadly and categorically in defense of NEPA as it was envisioned in law at a time when citizens across the country lacked a structured way to ensure that their voices were heard when government contemplated major changes to their communities and landscapes. When we look at the history of transportation in America, there are so many examples across the country of places where transportation infrastructure fundamentally changed the shape of communities, be it through roads that connected or disconnected, arterials that bifurcated or circulated urban cores, or mountain highways that put vacation destinations on the map. Transportation infrastructure can grow our economy and connect people's lives, but it can also carry costs to the natural landscape, to the footprint of a neighborhood, or to the quality of the air that we breathe. For half a century, NEPA has provided a vital framework for assessing those trade-offs, and as we mark its 50th anniversary, this should be a moment to reflect on what it has achieved. However, we are here today to consider a proposed rulemaking that threatens to compromise some of the core values of NEPA. This is not to say that NEPA should never be subject to improvement, clarification, or new efficiencies. Indeed, for many years now, federal agencies and legislators have implemented a range of streamlining measures, including to simplify processes for transportation projects. We've welcomed many of these changes, including the 2017 One Federal Decision Framework. However, this particular rule creates dangerous risks in the form of shortcuts to environmental review and public engagement in the name of streamlining. And as the leader of an agency that depends on NEPA to inform some of our most important project decisions, here are the changes that concern me the most. First, this rulemaking seeks to lead states away from considering indirect and cumulative impacts. We must understand how a transportation project incrementally adds to the larger problem. For example, transportation is one of the largest sources of GHG emissions in Colorado and is on trajectory to become the most dominant GHG emissions source. However, the NPRM would have us and our neighbors ignore a project's contribution to emissions under the premise that we should disregard effects that reach across geographically remote areas or those that are as a result of a chain of events outside the project's immediate control. It is also important to note that looking holistically at impact actually contributes to one of the greatest efficiencies of NEPA, which is that it serves as an umbrella for complying with a variety of important environmental laws like the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, and historic preservation requirements. By using one process instead of documentation, NEPA, as the template for complying with all of these laws, it saves us a scatterplot of uncoordinated processes that will likely take longer and make it harder for citizens to engage. Second, the proposal weakens opportunities for public involvement. We applaud the goal of timeliness, but in order to meet the short timeframes set for environmental reviews, agencies will likely push critical analysis work outside of the formal NEPA timeframe. Further, the presumptive one-size-fits-all has not factored in the realities of agency staffing and funding and the differences between large and small projects. Finally, the NPRM proposes to change the threshold of when NEPA applies to an agency action. There are situations in transportation when a change like that might make sense. For example, we've seen small projects be encumbered by NEPA. However, a simple de minimis threshold across the board could encompass projects that are larger and with more significant impact than ought to be taken out of this process. Thank you.